I'll also be speaking, first of all, welcome to the Yukon. I'm glad you made it. I barely did myself, so I think we're all doing pretty good here. I thought I'm speaking in a panel later this afternoon on archaeology, paleontology, and such. So what I thought would be, well, fun as well, is to begin with actually an extract from an essay that Aaron Senkpiel and I wrote for the first issue of our journal, the Northern Review, back in, it was 1987. And this section is called, the essay is entitled, what is that? Oh, New Bearings of Northern Scholarship. And Aaron, I should also note, Aaron Senkpiel was our former Dean of Arts and Sciences for forever. He passed on a couple of years ago. But the contributions that he made to the building of the infrastructure and capacity of people like me to do the work that I do was enormous. And in terms of the history of science in the Yukon, he really will be enshrined as an icon of great stature. So anyways, this is a section of the essay. It's called The Problem of the South. Some time ago, several of us at Yukon College were sitting around and trying to think of ways to get financial support. Too close? All right, sorry. And I talk really loud too. I usually don't even need it. Anyways, we're sitting around trying to think of ways to get financial support for a number of research projects in which we were interested. It was ground we had covered before, and new ideas were as slow as a northern spring in its coming. I know, said one. It's perfect. Let's create access. Access? What is access? It's what we need in the north, of course. The Association of Canadian Colleges engaged in Southern Studies. Southern Studies? Well, yes, Southern Studies. Look, we know that the South is the North's #1 problem. Isn't it an exaggeration to suggest that one of the major problems of the North is the South, as Louise Hamlin has said? And furthermore, any effort to understand the North, past, present, or future, requires reference to what people in the South are doing to us. As territories, indeed as colonies, we're subject to decisions made elsewhere. Doesn't it then follow that in order to understand what's going on here, we have to know what is happening out there, in the South, in Ottawa? So over the next hour or so, we engaged in the creation of access. We talked about the great funding possibilities. We would approach the federal government for money to set the association up. We could hold Southern Studies conferences in the North every year in Iqaluit, Yellowknife, and Whitehorse and Fairbanks. We could set up scholarships so that promising students could come north to study the South. And of course, we would have to set up research stations in the near, middle, and far South. These would help offset the enormous costs of conducting Southern research. I mean, travel expenses alone are crippling. And thus ensure that our Southern specialists could manage to spend at least a month or two of every winter in the South. And we would have to undertake a major educational campaign, of course, to familiarize Southerners with our plans. After all, we are studying them and they should be aware of what we are doing. And that also reminds us that we have to give some thought to developing a code of ethics to which members engaged in Southern research would have to subscribe. What is, again, truly remarkable is that when I came up here in 1986, the Arts and Science Division of Yukon College consisted of Aaron Senkpiel, Debbie Chubb, and I think Tim Topper was on staff. There's our mathematician and physicist and computer guy extraordinaire. And a bunch of people that live in Whitehorse as adjunct faculty that would come in and teach a course here, teach a course there. And Subsequently, we not only engaged in this fanciful discussion, we pursued the creation of a capacity, because what it really came down to was that, building a local, northern, indigenous capacity to do the research and to develop the knowledge that matters to us who live here in the north. And government departments do their government things, and it's not, it's great stuff that they're doing, but it's policy driven, right? And even within those constraints, it's remarkable what, in fact, some of our government scientists accomplish within those policy constraints. Again, it's truly remarkable work. But an independent, arm's length research capacity is what we always dreamed of and which we all pursued individually. In 1988, we were able to establish, in cooperation with the Yukon government, the Northern Studies program here at Yukon College, which was, again, a set of learning modules that allowed our students born and raised here to discover things about themselves that they never knew. And again, I think that is a truly remarkable story. In 1992, we were, with the support of the Donna Foundation, able to establish the Northern Research Institute, of which I was the first director. And that has since grown into this, again, another truly remarkable thing. In your thing, Rick, could you just hold that up to them? There's a pamphlet there that talks about research at the college in your books. So you can read it. I'm not going to read it over to you. But again, there's a whole series of quite remarkable activities going on as a result. We teach northern-based activities in criminology, renewable resources, nursing, and probably linguistics, language preservation with the Yukon Native Language Center, run by Dr. Ritter, who, if he's not here, you should probably seek him out. He's a fascinating man. He speaks 17 languages, including English. And then we have this great nexus of faculty members who, in addition to doing the regular job of teaching their students reading, writing, and arithmetic, bring to the table this enormous wealth of knowledge that they generated on the basis of them going out year after year after year out there in the real Yukon. Because it ain't in Whitehorse, I'll tell you that much. You know, as Al Purdy once told me, as he walked around Riverdale, this isn't the north, it's Mississauga. I don't want to take up much more time. I just wanted to highlight, I wanted to amuse you a bit, wake you up a bit. I hope I've done that. Later this afternoon, I'll talk more specifically about the things that I, in fact, am passionate about, which includes the excavation of what I think is going to turn out to be the earliest archaeological site in Canada. And they're going to have to change all the museums. So you might want to catch that one. Thank you.